can't hear you. I think you might. I think you're muted.
I was muted. Okay, that's why you're. Hello. Like, okay, so all I did was give away the winning lottery numbers in California for Friday night. That's all I said. So, I was laughing because I see that headshot of me come up. And at the time when I took the headshots, the soul patch wasn't a good thing or popular. And now that it's like 7 years later, it's even worse. But that's the picture they use for me. I die laughing. Hello, ladies. Hello. People are like, what is going on right now? Hello. Okay.
Hi.
We've got Tara L. Craig. She's a producer. We've got Jen Harrington. She's a writer, director, and editor. You guys have a movie coming out, and it is a pleasure to have both of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Great being here.
I'm so excited. This is the portion of the show where I dote on both of you, so I'm going to read your bios, okay? Here we go. All right. Writer-director Jennifer Harrington, DGA, WGA, has spent more than a decade creating features, shorts, television, music videos, and web content. In addition to her recent script sale to Sony Pictures and Jake Kasdan's company, The Detective Agency, she recently was both co-executive producer and director for the 2020 doc-series Dear for Apple TV. Most recently, her second feature film, Shook, keep an eye and a mind on that title, which she wrote and directed for Squid Farm Productions, will be, it's out. It premiered on February 18th on Shudder. Tara L. Craig is the founder and president of the Squid Farm that put out the movie Shook, which launched in 2017. The production company focuses on the creation of genre motion pictures, TVs, and commercials. Under the Squid Farm banner, Tara recently produced the feature comedy Guest House, which was #1 on Amazon Prime, and sci-fi thriller 3022, which was top 10 on Netflix. The first Squid Farm production, the psychological horror feature Shook, as I just mentioned, came out February 18th. Ladies, you guys are amazing. I'm so happy to have you. Women filmmakers. I have 4 daughters. This is exciting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, it's awesome to be here.
My first question right out of the gate is, was it BFFs at first sight when you guys met each other? Was it right off the bat?
I don't know. Was it, Tara?
I think the first time we met each other, I had a 6-month-old, and like literally in a,
I think so. Like we met at like a coffee shop, and
I had babies around me, and that was.
Tara talks really fast, and I remember like afterwards, I was like, I think I know what she said, but I'm not sure.
What brought you to? What was the meeting for? Was it for this movie Shook, like a few years ago, to pre-production, or what was it for?
Yeah.
No, it was for a different project. It was the yeah.
See, I'm starting fights here. Okay, so same question, but Jen, what did you like about Tara when you guys met? And Tara, what did you like about Jen?
Tara talks really fast. No, even though that is like a plus. I don't know, like we have like a super similar sense of humor, I think, and she just cracks me up. And so I mean, I think that's so important in any kind of working relationship, that you can have fun. So I think that's what I would say.
Good.
Yeah, I would say, I think Jen's like, when she rolls with the punches, things are going to change, and she seems very calm. And then also she's like Dick Van Dyke. Every time she walks in a room, she falls over something. And so I think that's great.
Because sometimes it looks like she's could be in a wood shop behind her with saws and things like that. I'm glad it's not. I don't want you to fall. And
I'm very, very clumsy.
She almost knocked herself out on the first day of Shook. She ran into a tree and literally almost knocked herself out. And I was like, there goes the movie. Way to go.
We need to unpack that. What was happening? Why did you not see a tree? How drunk were you? What need to know?
There was like a piece of paper that blew we were outside, and it was on the table, and it blew in a gust of wind. And I was just running after the piece of paper, just eyes on the paper, did not notice a very low hanging branch.
Wow.
And
I feel like you're making this up as you go along, but we're just going to.
No, she laid her.
No, I all the way on my God.
That is no good. Okay, ladies, I am not a flatterer, so I say this with sincerity. Looking at the resumes of both of you, it seemed to me that every aspect of Shook could have, and in some cases, could have been handled by both of you. Meaning, Tara, you're a producer and executive producer. Jen, you write, direct, and edit. So I say this with all respect and honor. It seems like the both of you could have done this film on your own because of the talent you both bring. But let's talk about what you did bring for each other. Like, Tara, what did you like that Jen brought as a director? And Jen, what did you like that Tara brought? And just talk about the direction and the making of 𝗫𝗃 for a little bit. And audience wants to know.
Sure. Well, I think we both love the genre, and I think we had our obsession with John Carpenter was not lost. But I think what's funny is that because of her editing background, she's extremely efficient. Like, she's like, I won't need this. I do need this. I don't need that. And it was really, really great. Wow. And like me, I think we're both kind of roll your sleeves up kind of people and get down and dirty. And if we're just going to make it, and no matter what. So yeah, I was, Jen always laughs. I had such a good time. She's like, it was tough. I'm like, I had a good time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, it was so hard.
I'm like, this is great.
How long was the shoot?
2 days? No, it was literally 12 days with 3 days of pickups and insert. So it was quick. Yeah.
It was quick.
Jen, what did you like that Tara brought that you're like, oh, I can finally rely on someone else. I don't have to do that. What was that?
Oh, like all the producing, which is like really nice, because I mean, on a lot of independent features, it's like, it's hard to fully remove yourself from that aspect of it when you're just trying to get the movie made. And I didn't have to think of a lot of things I've had to think about on other projects. And it was really nice because I could focus on directing and whatever new disaster had just befallen us. Yeah,
right. I grew up in the Bay Area. I came to Sacramento in 2008, and my thing was kind of like you, Jen. I was used to, doing everything on set. Like, you write, you produce, you direct, you act, you do this and that. So when I got on my first real working set in Sacramento as a director, I went over and I adjusted the light, and the grip came over to me. He's like, "Don't do that again." And I was like, what do you mean? I was just trying to help out. He's like, no, everybody stays in their lane. The directors don't do that. The lighting guys don't direct. And I will say it was a hard lesson to learn because I was so used to doing it. But man, it's so good when you're actually on a set doing a real film, because as a director or as the producer, you don't want to have to think about things that are outside of your lane. So that's so important. So important. And with that, Bex, why don't we show the trailer for 𝗫𝗃?
Don't! I'm shook. Janelle was a makeup legend. I'm gonna go to my sister Nicole's house to babysit her dog, Chico. Chico! Chico! Come here, buddy! You get out the house. What the hell?
We're friends now, online.
Lock all the doors. What do you want?
I need you to make a choice.
He says you have to choose.
Can't argue with that.
You're gonna kill me. Leave us alone. What did you do? Oh my god.
Wow. So we've got a little Halloween H2O there. We've got a little Scream. We've got a little Paranormal Activity with the house cams and stuff like that. But what was the thought going into this film? Like, what did you want to do? And it looks like you did whatever you did very well. But what was the thought going in?
I think it was pretty much like taking the first sequence of Scream and making a whole movie out of it.
Yeah. Right there.
That's like the best part of Scream anyway, in my opinion. But I think it was to like take the girl in the house and do something hopefully a little different with it, with technology, and especially how we were going to incorporate technology and social media. So I think, perhaps a different take on a familiar story.
That's great. What about what drew you to it, Tara?
I love Scream. When a Stranger Calls was always one of my favorite movies. And I thought I just like that the babysitter subgenre, in terms of like somebody trapped in a house, and this whole, what Jim was saying with the whole social media component and how there is no privacy, and we all have these online lives that are not necessarily the way we really live. So, because I kind of had this love-hate relationship with social media, because like I put my kids on there, I put like movies or whatever on there, but it's like, everyone else is like taking not now, but like they were taking glamorous vacations or they're doing this. So it's kind of this weird thing where you feel compelled to do it. I thought you know, why not kill people and do that, you know? So.
Yeah, so I am my 3 older daughters would attest. I am not cool, so I don't know what shook means. And Tara, we had a little talk about this behind the scenes before we came on. I still don't know what shook means, and I heard the girl say it in the trailer. I think I know what it means, but I'd like Jen, because she's the coolest one out of all of us, which is real. I'd like Jen to explain what shook means.
It's a slang term used these days. It's actually probably on its way. Like, you know, everything has a shelf life, so I feel like
5 minutes ago. Man.
I feel like it's already 5 minutes ago, to be honest.
Okay.
But it's another way of saying you're scared. Instead of saying you're scared, you say you're shook. And then that actually, people then took that even further and started saying they were shooketh.
Oh, like a little Shakespearean.
I am so shooketh.
That's good.
But it was just like, I think, you know, people's take on saying they were scared, but it kind of became a thing for a minute, and I thought it was kind of funny.
I'm gonna write that down and use it until it's completely dead. At least I'll be good.
Yeah, okay.
So did you guys film this during COVID? Was this a pandemic shoot? Oh, it was not. When did you film it?
We filmed it a couple years ago, and then we had some pickup shoots. So, so over the course of a year.
I would still like to talk about filming during a pandemic. If I know, Tara, you're actually starting a feature tomorrow. What can you both say about how things have changed, maybe permanently, but definitely how they changed temporarily shooting? Because I have not directed anything during the pandemic. Both my films were before, so I'm not familiar with, other than I know that you have a COVID person on set and those things. But what's that look like nowadays?
I think it's a real pain in the ass. I mean, we have to do it, but
sure.
It's expensive. It is a lot of time constraints. Like even now, we just had, well, I won't go into details, but we just had to replace somebody tonight. And now it's like, can we get them a test? Can we, you know, and everyone's running around because you have to get them tested. So it's like, it certainly adds a, like independent film is so difficult anyway, and adds this extra layer on top of it and this extra expense on top of it. And of course we'll do all of it for safety and everything, but I'm excited that they're starting to talk now about lifting restrictions. Some of the guilt, there's a rumor out there that might happen with the vaccinations, but in the meantime, we live with it.
Yep. What about you, Jen? Any experience filming during the pandemic?
I haven't done any production. I mean, my only experience is seeing productions get postponed and pushed.
Which happens
so
anyway.
Yeah, so for me it's more of like the lack of production instead of being on set, but yeah.
So for both of you, a lot of people who watch this show are up and coming and trying to break into the business. And so obviously the trailer was shook. You had to get actresses and actors. There wasn't a lot of male in the trailer, a lot of females. But what were you looking for in terms of your actress to be able to emote believability when they were scared? What can you talk about that? And then also, what advice would you give to anybody who specifically wants to get into horror? What kinds of things are you looking for, both as a producer and a director?
Well, I think as a director, you know, it took us forever to find our lead actress. And since she was pretty much going to be on camera for every frame of the movie, it was really important that we get the right person. So, I mean, we auditioned a ton of people. We considered a lot of people, but like we were like a week out from shooting. We still hadn't cast the main role. And it was very stressful. And I was talking to our DP and kind of freaking out about it. And he's like, you know, my friend's girlfriend's an actress. And I was like, have her tape a scene. Let's look at anybody. And, you know, it was very serendipitous. Like she sent it, and, you know, after looking at all these people, I mean, pretty much I didn't even have to finish watching it to know she was the right one. And she just, you know, I mean, it's so obnoxious sounding, but she had this quality, you know, and she just stood out. And I think like the big thing is like lots of people can act scared, but you don't, there's like an extra level of believability that I think you need to be able to portray, other than just like screaming and making your eyes big. And, you know, for her, I feel like, you know, she was really able to go there, but also, you know, we had her also read just like some straight dramatic scenes. And that was more important to me because she's not like the most likable character, and like you really want somebody who's going to be able to show you like a complex person. Like there's multiple things going on there. It's not just like, you know, a cookie cutter. Yeah, exactly. And I felt like she really was able to communicate that well. So
did you like her as well right off the bat, Tara?
Oh yeah, like I was thrilled because we really did. We had a great casting director, Leslie Wolf, who we just kept going through people after people. And there was a lot of close ones, but nobody really, you know, quite worked for us. And then it was great that Richard, the DP, brought Daisy in. And I just thought, I mean, aside from the fact she's a gorgeous girl, but like she was a fantastic actress, and she was really like, if you see the movie, there's a couple scenes that are pretty brutal where she just kept going for it, you know, like that scene is one I think of, but it's like she just didn't let up, and I was like, that's kind of impressive, you know, like never complained, never, you know, was totally in at 110%. So she was great to work. Actually, she's in Guest House. We put her in a in a quick shot in Guest House as well. So
I talk about that all the time on the show about the power of a positive attitude, and what I mean by that is like how far it can take you. Like if you have a positive attitude and you're easy to work with and you don't have an ego, I will call you for my next film time after time after time. I don't care how talented you are. If you have a bad attitude, I'm not going to call you again, because I'd rather work with someone who's hungry than not. So anyways, that's a little tangent. I do want to talk more about the audition process. I'll start off with my answer, then I'd like to hear both of yours. When I'm casting for a film and I put a call out, when I get the video auditions, a lot of, I don't know if it's a trend, it's a really bad one, where someone will say, hi, I'm Jen Harrington. I really connected with this role because, and in 3 minutes, you still haven't even got to your audition yet. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't care that this character meant a lot. I just want to see if you can act. So like, I want to know your name, do your audition, and then, you know, within 20 seconds, I'll know if you're the right person. But what do you look for? And talk about what didn't you like in some of the auditions you saw? Because I want this show to be a help to people who are auditioning a lot. I get this question. That's the most frequently question asked to me all the time is, how can you help my audition be better?
I will say the thing that was the biggest pet peeve was, especially one in particular I can remember, is being completely unprepared. Oh. And you know, like we did in-person auditions initially, and so, you know, like they're there with you in the room and you have a slot of time for them, and they come in and it's as if they've never even seen the sides before. And it's just a shame, because it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to see what you're capable of, and why did you, you know, why are you here? Like, what was the point? So I think for me, just like that lack of preparation, like as if you can just go in and wing it is gonna work. It's just like, it makes everybody feel like, oh, like this person just doesn't care.
Agreed. Do you have anything to add, Tara, to the audition process?
Well, I'll say, it's funny. 100 years ago, I used to do improv, a little bit of stand-up. And I think the one thing I learned from improv, which carried into other parts of my life, was commitment. And I think kind of what Jen's saying, if someone comes in kind of da-da-da-da-da, you're kind of like, they might be the most brilliant actor, but if they're not committed in that moment, they're not going to be. Right. So I think commitment is a big thing. And also just, I really like to see them, the director give an adjustment, because if they can make that adjustment, I'm like, there's hope, you know, that might work out.
Totally. So Jen, you we're now way side tangenting, because now I'm talking about something that I think is really cool. You edited the 𝗵𝗿_cie documentary, did you not?
Yes, I did.
Give us his real name, please, because I think I know who it is. Come on.
I think didn't it come out actually?
It did slip, but it's never been confirmed. But it was on a radio interview, so you and I are going to talk afterwards. Because I mean, let's talk about that documentary for a minute. How cool was that you got to work on that? Because he's such a world-renowned artist.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun experience. And the director was just like he's really talented guy. And yeah, like what was cool about it is we completely like essentially crowdsourced the film. There's like, outside of the interviews, everything was taken from user content from the internet. And so the idea was to make it feel like you were there experiencing this exhibit in real time as it was happening. And just finding all of this was like, you know, we had a whole team looking, but I would look too. And it's like, it's fun to kind of evaluate people's social media video from like a cinematic point of view and like a storytelling point of view, and then like figuring out how to like mesh them all together to tell the story you want to tell and get the information across you need to. it was really fun. As an editor, it was like one of the more fun creative experiences.
I can't wait to watch it. I have not had time yet this week, but I definitely want to. You spoke of social media right now. So one thing we do on this show every week is I pull up the guest's first Instagram post ever. So Tara, let's see your first Instagram post ever. And you need to explain it because I do it without any explanation. You just need to go. So Bex will pull that up. What is
well, that's clearly Alexa. I didn't have Instagram, did it? You know what's so funny? Oh, hell, it's so funny. Every once in a while you get those pop-ups about this was 10 years ago, whatever. I didn't know what Instagram was when we were doing the movie. And like Jen had created this lookbook and she was like, and I look at it, I go, this is kind of dull. It's all these squares. And she's like, that's Instagram. I'm like, oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, obviously a brilliant choice right off the bat.
Do you remember what was going on in that picture though? Because I read the caption. I know what was going on.
What was the caption?
You were miffed because the rain knocked Alexa out. You couldn't use her. Like,
I love that the first post is me being pissed off. I'm like,
right.
me?
Yeah, your second one is a movie stub, but I'm like, no, we're not. We're doing the pissed off Alexa. Okay. All right, Jen, your turn. Jen, look, wait. Don't do it yet, Bex. Wait. Jen, I almost didn't use yours because I'm like, I hope this doesn't like bring her like some sort of fear back into her life, but we got to show it now. We're doing it. Yeah.
All right. Oh.
What is going on?
This was so weird. I was at work. I was cutting something. This was in my office.
We're looking at a bullet hole, just to be clear. It's a bullet hole.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's a bullet hole. Like I was like cutting something for like the History Channel, and I showed up to work one day, and I go into my edit bay, and there's like, well, and like what was creepy was that like the bullet, like it looks like it had been shot from the inside.
Yeah,
which was also concerning.
Isn't that crazy? That's weird. So I'm like, should I show this? Is this going to give her?
Yeah, I know. It's super weird. That's funny. Wow, long time ago.
By the way, like one of your, it was yours, Jen. That was like almost 10 years ago. It was like, because Instagram tells you how many weeks ago it was. It was almost. It was like 476 or something. So congratulations on surviving the ghosts in your house that were shooting. Like in The Frighteners. Okay, so I'm watching this show. I'm in Sacramento. I'm in Northern California, or anybody on the internet watching it on Facebook as well. And I'm like, you know what? I've got a really good idea, I think, for an indie horror film. Okay, ladies, what's the first thing they do? What are their first steps?
Write it.
Okay. Let's say it's written. Let's say they're at the point where they want to get it made. I should have been more clear.
Oh no. Find a producer.
Okay.
Craig.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I personally, this is not how this movie happened, but I would say, like, you know, look at movies, independent movies that are the budget that you're thinking of, and look at who produced them, and then see if you can find them and see if they want to look at your project.
Yeah. Tara,
that's what I would do.
No, I think that's right advice. I think I look at people, you know, it's funny when people ask me, I'm like, exactly what you're saying in terms of the budget is a really key thing. If you got a $40 million, you know, action film, I'm not your person, right? But it's like, I mean, look at people who have made things that you actually like in that world as well. Yeah. And also look at somebody who's somewhat prolific, because if they made one, then, you know, it's going to be a tough time getting yours made, you know? So if they've got a few more, then they're probably got a little bit of connection going.
And do you both like people who have like, hey, I've got like a 6-minute short I shot on my iPhone. Would you like to watch that? Does that help, do you think, when they come and they're like, or Jen's like, oh, I've got a story to tell. Trigger warning.
He's mad at me because I haven't watched this short film. It's like, I sent this to you. This was earlier our conversation.
I know, we were just talking about, I sent her a friend of mine's short film, and I was like, watch it. It's less than 10 minutes. It's really funny. It's really good. And she's like, I don't have time. I mean,
does not have time. You know,
Tara is very, very busy. And I think that the thing is like any producer worth a damn is super, super busy. So I think like don't expect them to watch a short. Like I never expect Tara to watch that short, but I would love it if she did.
It's like
I will watch it.
Yeah. It's like when people ask me, they're like, can you watch my audition? I'm like, it's 2 minutes, but then you're asking me to give you all this feedback, and it's an investment. Like, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to, so sometimes I leave them on red, as my daughters say. I left them on red. Like I read the text, but I didn't reply to it. I have to admit. Okay, ladies, we have like 2.5 minutes left. So besides Shook, each of you answer this question. What's one of your projects that you're like, okay, this show's ending in 2 minutes. I want you to watch this. I directed it. I produced it. I edited. Each of you, what would that project be?
Tara first.
That we've already shot? Like, you're
already done. You're like, go on Amazon and watch this. I produced it or shot it or whatever. Like, what are you proud of besides Shook?
Oh. Well, like, I mean, it depends on your taste, but I mean, 3022, if you like dark sci-fi, that's a really well done movie. I think A Guest House is like a, if you like boy humor and fart stuff. I mean, I think that's probably, that's fun too. Yeah. I love the To-Do List and Friendsgiving. Those are really fun films for me. Those are really great ones. I enjoy doing those. Good.
Jen?
I think like the Deer series on Apple, it came out last year, and each episode is based on a different icon that's like kind of changed the world, and it's about letters that people have written to them explaining their own stories, and it was like a really kind of meaningful project, and the like really incredible people on it, like Spike Lee and Oprah Winfrey, and I would awesome. Recommend that.
Okay, we have 1 minute left, so 30 seconds each. Jen, you first. What would your current Jen, however old you are, we would never ever assume your age, what would you say to your 12-year-old self, knowing what you know now about the film industry? Ready, go.
I would say you're never going to get anything done unless you do it yourself.
There you go. Good. Tara, what about you?
I don't know. I think she stole my thought there. Yeah, I mean, be proactive and keep track of what you do, and make sure you keep a list, keep track of what you're doing. It's a really big deal to see how many people you're reaching out to. So
that's what I say too, is that if you want to make this a career, you have to be doing something perpetually all the time. Like you can't have this be a side hobby of yours if you expect it to turn into anything worthwhile, because it's so much hard work. But we have 2 women here who have made an incredible film, who are going to continue to make films. Thank you both for being here. I know it feels like 30 seconds when we do these 30-minute shows, but you guys are awesome. I had a lot of fun, and we hope you guys did too. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.